Wearing the new sleeveless garment is doing your religion the way you do your taxes. So, the new sleeveless garments released in America recently, and it turns out they're popular. I mean, really popular. And I can't help but compare this to the way that people do their taxes. When Uncle Sam comes knocking and he wants your money, you always give him the bare minimum, right? I mean, there's tons of people whose job it is to figure out how other people can pay the least taxes possible, and all kinds of credits and deductions and loopholes and everything that everyone always goes after. And I mean, is that how we're going to treat Jesus? Because that's what this sleeveless garment thing feels like. I'm not going to say that it's wrong to wear the new garments because they are approved by church leadership, though I'm just saying. But I do question the motives. If you're chomping at the bit to get these sleeveless garments, it's because you've wanted to wear sleeveless the whole time, because you care more about the fashion trends on social media than you do the church's modesty standards, which you don't really have a testimony of anyway. Instead, like taxes, you've been doing the bare minimum you can get away with, covering your garments because that's what's socially acceptable. And when the bare minimum becomes less, you do less, literally as soon as it's possible to do so. To this, I'll just say that no matter what you're wearing on the outside, the Lord looketh upon the heart. Your motivations for the garments you wear matter here, not just the fact that you're technically wearing them. And generally in the gospel, rather than asking what's the least you can do, instead you ought to ask what's the most you can do. Rather than doing the bare minimum, you should be doing your best because you want to. Anyway, that's what I've got. Just kidding, I need to take a pause here, because I don't know what I'm doing talking to girls. Apparently my audience is almost entirely male, especially since that female bar is probably mostly my wife. Bunch of giga chads in here. So my advice to you guys is not to marry this kind of girl. She's never going to be as loyal to God or to you as she is to whatever's on her phone. And my other advice to you is be the Chad you want to see in the world and become the kind of guy who's more interesting than social media. Lots of guys fail that test these days, but it's really not hard to do. All you have to do is never do your religion the way you do your taxes. Anyway, that's all I've got for this week. I want to shout out Aaron Wren over on Substack for the tax framing that I shamelessly stole. He's an evangelical Christian writer and very good. You guys should go check him out regardless of what church you're part of. And I also want to note that as much as I think modesty is a gospel truth, I also think that a lot of probably what you were taught about it growing up was a whole pack of lies. And figuring out what the truth actually is surprisingly difficult. Future video on this subject if you want to yell at me in the comments about it. Anyway, have a good and faithful week.